How's it going, folks? So today I'm going to be talking about the new upcoming album from the band Starchild. The name of this album is Magic Well, and this album comes out Friday, December 8th. It's got 12 tracks on this bad boy and comes in at about 49 minutes, just shy of that, but y'all know it by now. Before I get into that nitty gritty, let's check out the cover. So boom, there it is. Take a look at that cover. It's a pretty clean looking cover. I dig it. I like you have the band name at the top and then Magic Well down in there in this somewhat of a well. It looks like there's water, dripping out of it. And it's got that cool logo with the skull. Kind of reminds me of the Punisher. And it looks like there's some like coding happening kind of in the background. It's hard to say. They have a song called Cyberpunk on here, so that would be kind of fitting if that is. But it looks nice. I like the colors, just that kind of very light blue, almost white. And then you have like the blue kind of tinge, around it, around the whole rest of the album. So it's a neat looking cover. It's aesthetically pleasing. It looks nice. So it's nothing too fancy, but it gets the job done. As far as does it properly convey the music contained within, it's hard to say, again, with a cover that's somewhat simple. Definitely gives off, if you never heard of this band before and you're looking at the record shop or what have you, and you come across this cover, what would you think the music is if you never heard it before? I don't know. It's hard to say. I would say it looks like a blend between kind of a melodic rock or metal, maybe because of the skull or something, but power metal. I'm not sure if you would get that vibe. I think personally, I would probably think it's some kind of a melodic rock or a melodic hard rock. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be disappointed picking it up. You wouldn't think this is like black metal or folk metal or something like that, or even really pop or anything. So you wouldn't be disappointed if you got it. But I don't think it screams, power metal or really, what the music style is. But still, it's not a bad cover. It looks nice. And that's my thoughts on that. But as far as the album's concerned, like I said, it's got 12 tracks, comes in just shy of 49 minutes. And I have to say, folks, this album is something else. I mean, I am beyond impressed with this thing here. Right from the start all the way through to the end, every song really has its own personality and own character. And as I was listening to this album, each song really, like I said, has its own standout qualities and really stands on its own and sounds different from the rest. And even on second listen, each time the next song would come on, I would hear like the main riff or the main tune. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's right, I love this song. And that would happen all the way through. Really, really impressive here how it keeps the momentum up, and each song is just catchy, has a great melody, has a unique factor. This album plays out almost like a best of album, honestly. Like it's that good to where every song feels like it was chosen from a past discography and chosen as the best to play out in a compilation of like a best of. It really is that good, and that's what I kept thinking all the way through. I was like, is this like a best of album? And it's not, but it plays like that. It really, really has that good of a quality all the way through in every song. The guitar work is stellar. I mean, absolutely stellar. The riffs throughout this album are just so catchy, so melodic. Great solo work. You get some acoustic stuff. You even have moments of neoclassical style. And every song is kind of themed, which is really neat as well. And so that's what helps keep feeling, it keeps feeling fresh all the way throughout. And the guitar work is just stellar. You get some keyboard work throughout as well with a little bit of symphonic elements and spots. I would say the main driving factor of the songs and the melodies is the guitar work, but there's some really nice keyboard, really nice symphonic elements thrown in as well to emphasize the songs, or, the theme of the songs typically, and keep pushing it forward like that. The drum work is really, really well done. There's some great fills in there, some moments of build up where you, and then everything kind of kicks back in again. And the bass does a stellar job also of keeping that momentum and that pace. And all of that just works together so well to craft unique songs all the way through, and with enough variety to keep it feeling fresh. And then you have the vocals, which great range, great delivery, just great emotion in the voice. He really, really knows how to emphasize moments of the songs, or the chorus, or just based on the delivery of the vocals. Really, really stellar vocal work here. And the choruses, I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record as I keep talking about this album, but the choruses are so catchy, so memorable, and the verses do such a great job. They don't just serve to get you to the chorus. I really enjoyed the verses here. I mean, everything was crafted with such loving care, with the arrangements and the structures of the songs. And it's just top-notch stuff. I really can't get enough of this album, and I'm just impressed every time I listen to it, that you have such great melodies, such great choruses, such great vocal melodies, guitar melodies, and having such great themes for the songs, and how every song stands on its own, and nothing feels like filler here. Even though you got 12 songs, they all deserve a spot on this album. And they all are pretty short. I would say the longest song is about 5 minutes long, but most of them are between 3 to 5 minutes. And, short and sweet, but each earn a place on this album. It starts out with War Isn't Over Yet. And right when that song starts out, you'll get a sense of how good the guitar work is on this album, and how good the melodies are. And, it's got a nice up-tempo nature to the song, and just killer melody. Track 3, Westernworld, is one of my favorites. I mean, I love every song on this album, I'm not gonna lie, but Westernworld, it just is so good, and so fitting is the music to a Western kind of theme, where it just starts out and it kind of builds, and then you get the kind of classic Western sort of sounds, like almost like the little rattlesnake, or like spurs or something. And the tune is just very reminiscent of a Western, and the melody and that chorus is just playing in my head right now. They're actually going to be dropping that song as a single on Wednesday, December 6th. So check that out. Do not miss that song, Westernworld. That will be a great introduction to the album if you haven't heard the other singles yet, which I believe is track 4, Magic Well, track 6, At the End of the Rainbow, and I believe track 2, Castles in the Sky, also you can find out there, but doesn't really have like a video to go along with it. Any of those would give you a great idea of what to expect on this album. But Westernworld, don't miss that December 6th, and then don't miss this album December 8th. But another standout for me is track 5, Violin. This is the song that's got kind of a neoclassical guitar solo in there, and just the nature of the song, the guitar work. It's got one of my favorite guitar melodies in the whole album, and it's just done so well. And this just continues all the way through to the end here, folks. I cannot overstate how good this album is, and how every song... I remember the first time I was listening to this album, and I got about halfway, and I was like, they can't keep this up. And then each new song, I was like, oh man, this is so good. Okay, the next song's not going to be good. Oh man, this is so good. Surely there's going to be a dud in here. And there isn't. There certainly isn't. Track 9, I believe it's... Is it track 9? I've Lost a Friend. It's kind of the ballad of the album. It's hard for me to remember now, because I just love every song on here. But you have like your ballad that's just done so well, with the great guitar solo in there as well. and this whole thing, it's just so well themed. Track 8, The Dragon Rises Up Again, it sounds like the title says. And then like track 11, Cyberpunk, is very different from the rest of the album, but also just so good. It's just so well crafted, so well crafted. So I'll leave you with those thoughts: is that melodies are killer, guitar work is killer, vocals killer, the themes are so cool. This album plays out like a best of. It really is that good. And I always tell you folks, if I had to pick one song for y'all to listen to decide if you wanted to hear the whole album or not, of the singles released, you really can't go wrong with any of them. I would say go with track 2, Castles in the Sky. I think that really helps encapsulate best what the whole album has to offer, but you also can't go wrong with Magic Well or At the End of the Rainbow. But December 6th, check out Westernworld. Do not miss that one. And I think if you listen to that song, you will definitely listen to the album. And if you listen to the album, you will love it. So again, that's Starchild with their new album, Magic Well, dropping December 8th, Friday, December 8th. This is one not to miss. I was really impressed and could not believe how from start to finish, every song is just so good. So I cannot overstate how much I love this album. That's my thoughts on it. I enjoyed their previous album that released, I think it was just last year, but this album, in my opinion, blows it out of the water. It takes everything that was good about that album and just takes it into the stratosphere. This is really an album I think will become a classic. This is an album that really is a defining point for this band. It's going to be hard to beat. And yeah, I normally don't give out number scores for albums. I don't like to do that. But this here, it's a 10 out of 10. Simple as that. This is a 10 out of 10. And really, the band should be proud, very proud of what they've created here. It's some solid melodic power metal that will be the gift that keeps on giving, to folks who listen to it, because it's an album I just love listening to again and again. So that's my thoughts on that. Check that out December 8th. Let me know in the comments below if you've been listening to this band, if you listened to their previous releases. What do you think of this band? What do you think of the singles they've released for this album so far? And are you going to check out the album? And once the album drops and you check it out, come back and let me know what you thought of it. I would love to know your thoughts, because I am just giddy with delight over this album. So I would love to know what the rest of y'all have to say about it. But that's what I got, and I'll catch you folks next time. Ranger out.